What's up everybody? Thank you so much for joining me on another video. If you're new here, karibu sana. My name is Rozitta and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for new videos every week. So on today's video, I'm going to be answering a question that I get so many times, and let me start here. I think it was last week, but when I got an inbox on my messenger, and it was from a man, and he was telling me how his girlfriend has just been sexually abused, and I could sense a lot of confusion in his words. I could feel his pain, and for a moment I was so amazed and intrigued that a man could actually feel such a kind of pain, because we are in a world where it feels like to men this is normal, this happens, but when I got a message from him telling me about his girlfriend and what had just happened, I was so, I don't know, I felt heartbroken, of course, because for a man to get to that point, it must have been very hard for him, And as we were just chatting, he asked me, how long do you think she's going to take to heal? And I didn't know what to tell him. I was confused. It was a hard question, honestly. So I decided from that point that I was going to do this video so that I can be able to share my own experience as long as healing is concerned in that area. I'll begin by saying this. Healing is such a painful process that most of the time it's more comfortable to live with your pain rather than to get the healing. I don't know if I'm making sense. For example, let me ask you a question. Have you ever, or can you remember the last time you wore a very uncomfortable shoe, or maybe the heel was too high for you, so at some point during the day you felt like your feet are killing you? Can you remember that point? What did you do? Did you remove the shoes, or did you just stay in the shoes? I want to guess that most probably you decided to hold on and, survive the pain until the end of the day, just so that you can feel like you have conquered the pain throughout the day. And healing basically feels the same way. Sometimes it's more comfortable to stay in your pain than it is to come out of it. Why? Because when you are healing, you are feeling the pain twice as much. This is what I mean. You already have the pain that you need to heal, but for you to heal, you have to relieve the pain, and sometimes you feel the pain all over again. There are moments where you feel like you have to live in certain moments of that pain, and the pain is more excruciating at that particular point. So it's so much easier for us to decide, you know what, I think I'm gonna live with this pain because healing is too much. I can't bear the process. I can't go through this. And I feel like we live in such a broken world where we have preferred to live in the pain rather than to go through the process of healing, which is more painful, but very, very necessary. For me, healing, let me tell you, up to this point, I can't say that I've gotten to that point where I can say I'm healed. This is because healing is not necessarily a destination. You can't say that after 6 years, you are going to have overcome the pain of sexual abuse trauma. You can't say it will take you a month, it will take you 6 months. No, there is no timeline, and healing is not a destination. I don't think there's anyone who ever gets to a point and they feel like, woof, I think I've already gotten my healing, I am totally okay, the pain is gone. I don't think there's anyone who ever gets to that point. But let me share with you a story. My healing journey, of course, began in 2016 after the ordeal. If you haven't watched that video, there is a link up on this card. You can go watch the story. So this is like a continuation, sort of. So it felt like, for me, let me say, the first thing when it came to my healing journey is that I ran away from it. And I didn't know then what I know now, but I ran away because it was painful to go through the process of healing. I remember the first time I had to go for counseling, and my mom came and told me we need to go for the first counseling session. I almost didn't want to go because I knew what I was going to face, you know. I knew that I was going to be forced to relive moments I'm trying to forget. I'm going to be forced to talk about the times and the feelings and the fear that I was experiencing, and I didn't want that. It felt safer for me to just run away from the memories, you know. So for me, I always ran away from it, and luckily my mom was persistent, and I went to the first counseling session. It wasn't as bad, the second one, the third one, but something peculiar used to happen in that counseling room. Every time I talked to my counselor, I would feel the fear again. I'd feel as if I'm in that moment all over again. I'd feel the pain all over again, and I was very confused because I thought counseling was supposed to make you feel better, you know. It was supposed to make you feel like you're coming out, but it made me feel like I'm going deeper and exploring deeper, exploring my emotions deeper, exploring the pain deeper, and that is what was making it just worse for me. So it was a terrible beginning for me as long as healing was concerned, but I decided that I was gonna force myself go through it. 3 months down the line, I was like, you know what, I need to go back to school, so I'm lucky I'm not going to have to go on with the counseling session. And how many of us get to that point to feel like, I am so excited I don't have to receive help anymore, because help feels like it was not helping me. I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't know if you're having memories of such a time in your life where it felt very nice to sort of drop out of a process that you didn't want to go through, but it was necessary. I don't know if you can remember such a period in your life, but I was at that point where I was like, it is over for me. I'm done with counseling. The rest of the journey, I will walk it by myself. I can do this all by myself, you know. And so it got to January 2017 and I had to go back to school, and I thought, I think I'm healed. I can do this on my own. I've done enough counseling sessions. I don't need nobody to remind me that it was not my fault. I don't need nobody to tell me it was an accident. I don't need nobody to tell me not to regret or anything. I can do this on my own. And the first time when I learned that healing is not a destination was at that particular point, because I went back to school. Remember, I had called off my semester, so I hadn't met my friends, my classmates. I hadn't met them for a long time. So I go back to school, and because I've lost so much weight, I think I was at 44 kgs at that time, or 42. I had lost so much weight. So can you guess the comment that everyone was telling me? It's Rozitta. Hey, na umekonda. Rozitta, you've lost so much weight. Rozitta, what's up? And you people, you have no idea how much I'd try to bottle up my emotions. I'd try to bottle up the tears that I wanted to just burst, you know. I would just laugh it off and then get back to my house, and then I'd just explode. You see how like SpongeBob cries and the sea is filled with his tears? I think I was SpongeBob at that particular time. All those emotions would just explode, and I'd realize that, oh my God, it's not over. The pain is still there. It's still so fresh, and people are literally poking the wounds, you know. As if that was not enough, you remember I told you I didn't like at all to be by myself. That meant that even if I was going to town or I was going to school or going to the shop, I didn't want to be alone. But you know, you can't always have a guide, you know. You can't always have somebody who's sacrificing their time just to make you feel safe and comfortable. So it got to a particular point and I had to be by myself. I had to do things by myself because it's not like I can't do it. I'm just afraid, you know, I'm just paranoid. So I had to overcome that. And I remember this particular time I was going to town, and it was the very first time for me to go to town by myself after the whole ordeal. This meant getting into the loafer all by myself. You guys, if you live in Nairobi, if you use the Thika Road or any buses basically in Nairobi, you know that buses, the conductors are so rough. They are brutal, they are inhuman, they don't have hearts. So this particular time, I'm going to get into a loafer so that I can go to town. I think I was going to buy something at Dubois. I can't remember clearly, but it was so important for me to go to town. Trust me, it had to be very important for me to consider going to town by myself. I'm going to get into the loafer, and the conductor was not rude. He was not brutal, but his tone triggered me for some reason. He said something in a way that poked my wounds, and I felt like I was going to die. You know, the pain just came upon me like a garment just thrown upon me, and I could not hold myself back. So I got into the bus and wondered, what has just happened? What has just happened? And I thought, oh my God, he has just triggered me. There was something about his voice. And at that time, believe it or not, I started crying. Yep, in the bus. And I think there was a woman next to me. Yeah, there was a lady next to me. And she noticed I was crying and she asked me, is everything okay? Aliharibu. She made it worse. So at this point, I just broke down completely because I couldn't talk. I couldn't explain to her what's going on in my mind or what I'm dealing with at this point. So when the moment she said, are you fine? Are you okay? The little strength I had just vanished through the window and I broke down. I cried all the way up to town. So when I alighted in town, my eyes were red and puffy, and those days we were not wearing masks, so I couldn't cover my face up. So you can imagine how people were looking at me in town. So I just wanted to get this done and over with. And I remember the moment I did all my errands, went back home, I just continued with the crying. SpongeBob again. And that's the moment I realized probably this will take longer, you know, because you get to a point and you feel like, I think I've overcome. And then somebody somewhere is sent to trigger you. It can be in the way they talk, it can be a word they say, it can be how they touch you, it can be how they look at you. Literally small details that you think are not important at that time, they trigger you, you know. And that's why I am saying that healing is not a destination. You can never like really get over it, you know. One time again, I was at Kahawa Sukari. I was staying, I'd gone to visit my cousin who stays there, and we were going to do dinner. And at that particular day, she said she didn't have groceries in the house, so we needed to go out and do some shopping. What time was it? It was 6:30 p.m. Now, I had a fear of being outside the house anytime past 6:30 because that is when it happened to me. So I was like, anytime 6:30 kigonga, I need to be in the house. But here she is, she didn't know the story. And she's saying, let's go buy groceries. And I'm like, sis, can't you go alone? I don't want to go. But I didn't want to tell her because not many people knew, you know. So I didn't want to tell her, pia na yeye aanze kuni comfort. The comfort always made it worse, yeah? So we went for grocery shopping, and at some point we were buying meat. So she got into the butchery and I was waiting for her outside. I need to sip. I was waiting for her outside the butchery. And then somebody out of nowhere, out of completely nowhere, just showed up behind me and put her hand around my neck. Oh my God. I think I fainted inside. I was like, oh my God, where am I? You know, at that moment I felt like, I don't know where am I. What have I said? I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at. I felt like I'm in danger. I felt like I'm reliving the moment where I was strangled, literally. And I turned around and it was a friend of mine. And she was like, hi Rozitta, unafanya nini huku? Because I didn't stay at Kaskari. I used to stay at, okay, I can't mention the estate. I hate that estate. So she was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I've just come to visit my cousin, nothing much, nini nini. So she left. The moment she left, I could feel my heart literally in my mouth. That joking moment for her, for me, was reliving trauma, you know. The point of all these stories is to tell you that you can never really say that you have gotten to a point of healing without reliving the pain over and over again. For me to make my point clear, we are in 2021. This is 2021. Let me tell you, last week, today is Monday, so last week on, should have been Friday or Saturday, I just walked by to go to the shop and I saw some 3 boys like tulikuwa tunaenda kukutana. Now, because of my experience, my senses are always alert, literally. I think I have the best hearing. My eyesight, I look at you, I analyze you from top to bottom. I can know if you're a bad person or not. That is how sensitive I am right now. So we are approaching one another with these 3 boys and I look at them and I'm like, I need to change my route. I need to change my route. But there's nowhere to go. I can't turn around. But then again, I'm thinking to myself, come on, it's broad daylight. They won't do nothing. Let's just go. Let's just meet. So the moment we start approaching one another, they start teasing me. You know, they're like, hey, I'm so past you, what. They were vulgar. And one of them said something and my heart started to race. My mind told me, this is a perfect time for you to throw a stone at them. So I started looking for a rock, literally. So tumepitana, and then they turn back and they continue teasing me, nini. That is when I knew the battle is not over yet. And I wanted to reach out for a stone and I thought to myself, Rose, you're better than this. You're better than this. You can ignore them. Just completely ignore them. But I remember at that time, I felt so angry. I felt so, I can't explain. It was so bad. I am so excited and so proud of myself that I overcome the moment. And I just went past them, ignored them. I didn't talk. I did throw a rock at them. And I almost wish I did. But I know I will have started a bigger fight and I will probably have lost because it's 3 against 1. But point is, I knew the journey is not over. So I just got to the shop. My voice was shaky. I had gone to buy, what had I got? Tomato sauce and what else? I love wafers. So I'm talking to the shopkeeper. My voice is shaking because I'm so angry. I'm trying to control myself. Anyway, I get back to the house and I realize at least I can control things that are triggering me, you know, like I don't have to react how I used to kitambo. Because one time I literally threw stones at boys, literally. I was just taking a walk around the estate with my sister, and these street boys, those were literally street boys, like they were dirty and vulgar and, you know. So they start mocking me and my sister, and anger took the best of me. I don't know how I got superpowers. I just bent, took a rock and threw at them. I didn't miss. I did not miss. So the fact that this time I didn't do that, I feel like I am slowly getting over the pain. You know, I'm slowly managing to control when people trigger me, when words trigger me, you know. So this is what I'm trying to say with so many words. Healing is not a destination. Healing has no timeline. So to this dear man who asked me how long is his girlfriend going to take to get over the pain, I don't know. I honestly do not know how long she takes. She could take a year. She could take 10 years. She could take a month. But I don't know how long she's going to take, because it's not a destination you arrive at. I think healing is a state, you know. You get to a certain state where some things that used to hurt you don't hurt you anymore, because you've like outgrown the pain, you know. You've gone through the pain so much that you've gotten to a point where it doesn't hurt as much, you know. It's like when you have fallen, you've cut yourself and you have a wound. When the wound is healing and there's scab on the skin, it doesn't hurt as much. So I think healing is a state you get to, and you can be able to talk about it. You can be able to remember the moments. You can be able to talk to somebody about it without feeling the pain as much as you would kitambo. But it's not always easy. There are times I'll feel like I'm so low, I'll feel so discouraged, and my mind will interpret the situation I'm in as something that is related to what I went through. So my mind will race back to that moment, and I will feel so bad that the moment happened, and I'll just cry for no apparent reason. There's a time a cousin of mine had visited us, and I don't know what had happened, but it was just the two of us, and I can't tell you what happened, honestly. I can't tell you, but I remember I was in a very low state. I was feeling very terrible. My parents were not at home at that point. So I just went into my room and I just started crying. I can't tell you why I'm crying. I can't. But I was just crying. And I knew deep within me that this is related to my trauma, you know. So she's asking me, why are you crying? Why are you crying? She also didn't know the story. And I'm like, hakuna hata mimi sijui, you know. It was at 10 p.m. Believe it or not, I called, I have some pastor friends of mine who live around. So I called them and I was like, can I come over? It was at 10 p.m. Oh, my parents had gone for a prayer kesha. They were in church at that time. So I called them and I was like, can I come over? They're like, yeah, sure, it's fine. They just live like across us, so I didn't fear getting out of the house at that time. So I went to them and I was just crying, and I remember her hugging me. She didn't know why I'm crying, and then at that point I was like, you know what, I've got to talk about this, you know. So after I was done crying, she asked me, why are you crying? So I tell her what happened, and she was sad, and she just felt it, you know. And I remember at that point when I came back home, I felt so much lighter. But then the point is, sometimes you're gonna cry for no reason. Sometimes you'll just be in bed and you wake up crying and you can't tell what has triggered you, you know. So don't be too hard on yourself. You've got to give yourself grace, you know, extend grace to yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself, you know. Don't give yourself a timeline. Don't say, in 3 months I need to get past this. Don't tell yourself, oh my God, it's been 10 years and I'm still feeling bad. Don't be hard on yourself. And one thing I'd encourage you is allow yourself to feel the pain. Allow yourself to feel the pain. And I don't know why my voice today is sort of, I feel like there's some crying inside my voice, but anyway, allow yourself to feel the pain so that you can be able to come out of it. Most people tend to choose numbing the pain, but here's one dangerous thing about numbing your pain. The moment you numb the pain so much, a time will come where you can't hold yourself no more. You can't control that pain no more. You can't ignore the pain no more. And that is where you explode. And then we start hearing of cases where a woman is murdering men, and a woman committed suicide, and a woman has killed the children. And you feel like you get to a point where now you're not just in pain, you are bitter, and bitterness is worse than pain. So you'd rather allow yourself to go through the pain and feel the pain and experience it, no matter how excruciating it is. Just allow yourself to walk through that fire, knowing that in the end you're going to come out a better person. And so that is what I'd encourage you. And if you are a support system to any victim out there, I have a few words for you. Do not push any victim into the direction of healing if they're not willing, because healing is personal and it's supposed to be as intentional as can be, because the moment you push somebody into it, they resist it, because it's like you're pushing somebody into the fire. Naturally, they're going to try and run away from it, but once somebody understands on their own that I need to go through this, I need to feel this, I need to get through this fire by myself, it's going to be so much easier. Another thing I would say for you is be patient. Be patient with any victim out there. If you're close to any victim, if it's your spouse, your sister, your brother, your daughter, it could be your son, because I understand that this happens to boys and men as well. If it's somebody close to you and they are looking up to you as a support system, you've got to be very patient with them. That means when you see them crying all the time, don't nag them like, why do you keep crying? It's in the past, just forget it, just move. It's not as easy as it appears, it's not like a sickness you get over. It's emotional, so you can't put somebody into that kind of state without them willing to go through it. And be a good listener. For me, I was so lucky that I had men around me who are my best friends, and they walked with me the journey from the beginning, literally from the beginning. And so anytime I'd feel overwhelmed, I would go to them, and I wish they would share. I think one of these days I'm going to organize to have one of them here if he accepts, so that he can share with you how it was for him to just listen to me over and over again. And most of the time, I used to complain about the same thing. It used to be, I can't believe I lost my virginity. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'd repeat that so many times, almost a day wouldn't pass without me saying it, because that was the most painful thing for me, as long as this experience was concerned, because I had literally chosen that path of chastity for me. I had chosen purity all the way, And then some strange man decides to turn my world around. That was the most painful thing. So I'd go to them and I'd tell them, I can't believe it happened. I can't believe. Or maybe God can restore it, I used to say crazy things at that point, but they would just listen. They didn't necessarily respond. They were like, don't worry. They weren't even talking, because what will they say, But the fact that they listened made it helped me so much. It helped me so much because every time I'd speak it, it would be as if I've overcome a hurdle. It would be as if I've gone a step higher, you know. So I'd repeat it, and then it got to a point I'd repeat it and I'm like, oh wait, I'm not crying. Amazing, you know. So I can go on and give you different stories of how my healing journey has been hectic, and you can't tell because I don't look like what I've gone through. Praise Jesus. How beautiful ashes. Yeah. So I don't want to go on, but let me finish with this last story, so that you see how we normally say that be kind to everyone because you don't know what people are going through, you know. This particular time I was in class, I had called off a semester, I remember. So I'm trying to do 2 semesters in 1 semester. Remember, my course is mathematics and computer science. You remember that, yeah? So I go to the lecturer after a statistics class and I'm not understanding nothing. I'm not understanding anything. It's like my mind is resisting any knowledge for some reason. I was struggling. One, because the course I was doing was like statistics 2, yet I've not done statistics 1. So things that are in statistics 1 that are needed in statistics 2, I don't know. So I was just floating, and I thought because my lecturer was a woman, I could approach her and see if she can help me. So I go to her and I'm like, how are you, madam? My name is Rose. I'm a student in statistics 2. So I was wondering if there's anything you can advise me as long as statistics is concerned, because I called off a semester and missed doing statistics 1. So is there anything you can advise me to do so that I can be able to catch up on the two courses? Oh my God, I did a mistake. I shouldn't have gone to her. And she told me that, you missed statistics 1. Don't worry, you're just going to fail. And I remember that moment, I held back my tears. I was like, it's not my fault, you know. So I left her and I was like, okay, so you said I'm going to fail? I'll prove it wrong. I'll do anything I can and everything I know, you know. So I left her, and then I met with my my class representative. Shout out to him. His name was Sam, and Sam was such a gentle soul, you know. And he saw me crying. He was like, Rozitta, why are you crying? And I was like, nothing. And then he just told me, whatever it is you're going through, don't worry, you'll overcome. I felt so encouraged, you know. So guys, be kind, you know. You never quite know what people are going through. So just be kind, and if somebody tries to seek your help, just offer it. You don't have to know the reason why they're trying to get help or something. Just do what you can to help them. So that would be it for me. How long are you gonna take to heal? I don't know, but you are going to get to a better state that you are in right now. I believe I'm also getting better by the day. I'm also drawing closer to that state, you know. The far I've come, I think I'm better off. I'm better off right now than I was 2 years ago. Actually, I'm better off right now than I was last year. So it's a journey. Extend grace to yourself, and if you can get somebody you can always talk to. So that is my answer to that question. I don't know how you're gonna take, but you are gonna get there somehow. Just keep on keeping on. Just don't give up on yourself. and everything will work out for your good. Hashtag beauty for ashes, to give unto them that are in Zion beauty for ashes, and the oil of joy for those who are mourning, and the spirit of praise for the garment of heaviness. Yeah, so that's it for this week's video. I hope it has encouraged you. I hope it has inspired you. I hope it has pushed you further into making this decision of going through the healing. And if you'll remember anything from this video, let it be extend grace to yourself and to other people out there. Remember, you guys, you can always get my book, Beauty for Ashes. This book is not necessarily about sexual abuse trauma. No, it's about things that we go through in life, and the hope that we get from scripture that we can get over them, you know. So my story is a Beauty for Ashes story. Whatever you're going through, it could be a different kind of trauma. You can still find your beauty for ashes out of that story. So that would be it for me. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And if you have any other questions, feel free to comment them down below. And that will be it from me today. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Rozitta, and bye guys.